Hi, this is Mason, and you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Now it's time to start the post-game show. Here's Brian.
Well, and thus it ends. And thus it ends as Syracuse falls to SMU in the ACC Tournament today. Whatever the score was, 86-69. Doesn't matter at this point. Assuredly Reds' last game. We will have live right here. Reds presumably final Syracuse press conference coming up live shortly. So that will be coming on. Players will be there also. Man, it's only 3 years on since the bizarre final press conference of Jim Boeheim. So we'll see how it all goes today. We'll see if we get an announcement from the university tonight. If it waits till tomorrow morning, I would be shocked if we make it past 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah, most anticipated post-game presser in a long time. Yeah, JM. It's like anticipated in just a dreary, dreadful way. This is not happy fun times, but yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be absolutely something here right now. I see the podium. Do we want to look at the podium? We can all take a gander at the. Oh, that's an issue. Why is it not letting me do? Oh, it's like blacking it out, trying to send it to you. Oh, that's tricky. That is a tricky situation. Like I'm trying to send it to you here, and it's blacking it out. That there couldn't be anything. Max, I need you to stop. That's not okay. We may have a murder of children live on air today. You know, anything's possible. Anything's possible. Vivian, I need you to stop. Thank you. Yeah, I can see the podium. It's not letting me stream the podium. Is it letting me stream the audio of the podium? Well, that's a unanticipated problem. Feels about right for the final press conference of Red. Guys, when I said you need to go upstairs, I'm really confused at which part you did not understand. As I note, you're all still downstairs. I note that you're all still here. So how am I going to show this to you? If Vivian, I need you to stop. I think this is going to be like a fascinating situation where I can we'll be able to maybe listen to it, but maybe not actually see what's going on. So yeah, we'll see how it's going, buddy. Last chance. Remember all the ice cream you got yesterday? No. Yeah, we're gonna have threats live in the air now. It's all going to go away. Gone. I need you to stop. Yeah, so that's what we got going on here right now. It's fantastic. Yeah, the kids are back, George. The kids are back at the moment here. So yeah, that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on in the basement. Yeah, it's not letting me. There must be some kind of. They're crafty here with the post-game pressers. They're like blacking it out. But I think I'm going to be able to send you the audio, but the video is going to be black, I think, which seems insanely fitting for it. Yeah, level 5 daycare. It's level 5 something. I'm having dips in my sanity is what we're doing. Buddy, can you please stop? It's just dips in my sanity. Level 1 situation. So if you're new to the show, this is what we do. Yeah, and many of you are. Do subscribe if you're new to the show. We'd love to. What do you want to subscribe? That's Vivian. We all love Vivian. Yes, you want to subscribe. And we all love Max too. And we will not do anything that constitutes crimes against children live on the air right now. Yeah, at least someone's happy. Good point, Jeff. Good point, Jeff. Too much sugar? Maybe not enough. Could be the wrong amount. You never know with these things. You never know with these things.
What do you think this will happen to this? Hit the thumbs up button, hit the bell, and subscribe.
Yeah, listen to Max and subscribe.
And Johnny's doors.
Viv, okay, Viv, before you before you break my whole computer and you almost spilled a whole water bottle on the floor, we're going to stop.
Yes, Dad.
Okay. Yeah. What does Vivian think about Red? Give Max a buck to go upstairs. George, you're behind the days in your pricing. You're behind the days in the pricing. Yeah, not in the last 30 seconds. Not in the last 30 seconds. We'll take your live calls too, because you know what else? Yeah, can we call a fall? Can we get a fall? A 20 doesn't seem to be enough. I didn't give it up. It was taken by force. T-takes. It was taken by force. Absolutely taken by force. Yeah, there we go, CF. There'd be the conspiracy theory of all times. So this honestly seems to be like a pure statement of exactly what the basketball season was like, huh? Just general insanity, things not going according to plan, and eventually there will be a
It's raining tacos!
I don't know if they know it's raining tacos, Viv. Well, the thing is, Bowling Ball, is I'm live on camera right now. Yeah, the kids need, the time change. It's a lot, it's just bad weekend to be changing the clocks. SMU's going first at the press conference. I can see them setting up Andy Enfield's thing. You can't. Boopy Miller will be, Andy Enfield's walking in right now. I wish I could show it to you. Hit the subscribe button. More exciting entertainment like this. Who knows where you're going to get stuff like this? Is there any way I can actually make this appear on the screen? I don't know if I can.
Let's get a drink of water.
Andy Enfield's talking. You want to hear him? Here's Andy Enfield.
You guys played very well together tonight. Very proud of them. And it was a win that we surely needed. And we expect to play well tomorrow as well. And our upperclassmen, our guards, got hot in the second half. And when we can score the ball, we're pretty good.
Can we take questions for Coach while we wait for two players? First question to our left, front row.
Leah Simakopoulos, Dallas Morning
You
News.
are doing something,
How
buddy.
big was it for you guys, both internally
Fish
and then
tacos?
to send a message to the committee to show that
Yeah,
you could put
two
up points like
immediate
this
timeouts.
and
Yeah,
kind
we
of
need
get
a
scoring
full.
across the board
We
without
need
BJ?
20. We need
Well, yeah, but
something.
BJ Edwards, an all-league player. He's first-team all-defense for 2 straight years, leads the league in steals, averages 13 points, 5 assists, 6.5 rebounds, and almost 3 steals a game. So we had to get adjusted. We had 4 straight road games when he got hurt. First half of the Cal game, we had to play 3 out of the 4 on the road, and without him, we had to figure out how to play without him. So tonight, we're getting better at trying to figure it out. But you really feel bad for the young man, but we expect him back later this week. So he's really recovered well, and we expect him back later this week. I don't know how many games we can win here, but he's really come a long way. And in the meantime, our players are playing hard, and they're playing together, and so we know what's at stake. I think tonight, to me, looked like an NCAA tournament team. We have a lot of good wins on our resume, and unfortunately, we had an injury at the wrong time, but he's coming back. So we feel like we'll be at full strength by the end of the week. It's going to be questionable tomorrow. I think the end of the week is more realistic, and what day that is, that's the doctor's decision.
Let's take questions to the two players, front row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Boopy, 25 points tonight. Just what you were seeing out there and utilizing your offensive game and making sure to take your spots in this game against Syracuse.
I feel like my teammates, they made the right passes. Toom and Samet, they made, I think they had 3 or 4 assists apiece. But, those guys throwing it in and throwing it out, were making great plays. So I appreciate those bigs for kicking it out for me for the threes.
Jaden, 19 offensive rebounds as a team. You had a double-double in the first half. What enabled your and as a team the domination on the glass?
Coming into the game, Coach told us, he told me I was in the starting lineup, so I know I got to be impactful on the offensive rebounds to stay in the game. So me and Samet were on the glass today, and we feel like we did a good job.
While we're managing 2 just unruly kids and trying to figure out if we can get you the video.
Curious how you assess Jerron as a player, first half versus second half. I think he started 0 for 8 from three-point range and then made 4 of his next 5. And how is it to know that you have someone who can kind of heat up in second halves like that?
He's a great player. He works on his game all the time, off the court. after practice, before practice. So I believe in him. I feel like when he shoots the ball well, we all look good as a team in a whole. So I told him keep shooting, and I feel like that's what he did second half.
Jaden?
His confidence never wavers. The game before this, I think he only had 2 in the first half. Then he came out and had 20 in the second half. So
Look, you can look at this black.
his confidence
box
never
that we're
wavers.
talking.
He stays aggressive, and it's
compelling?
always
It's a
good to have a
black
guy like
box.
that on your team.
Front row.
Yeah,
This would be
for
much
both of you
better.
guys, lost to Syracuse almost a
all
month
log
ago.
off.
Just what
No,
adjustments
stay
did you
tuned,
guys
Mark. It'll
see
keep
from
this thing under
that
control.
game to today that maybe changed things?
I feel like that early adversity in the middle of the season, helped us prepare for, games like these. So, just going back and watching film and listening to the coaches on, the details of the game, I feel like that helped us, and that's why we came and got the win today.
Jaden?
I feel like we laid off of them last time we played them at Syracuse. We were up 13, but I feel like tonight we finished for the whole 40 minutes. Didn't get too high, didn't get too low, and then our point guard and Jerron, they kept us together.
Third row right in front of me.
It's a good point.
No
Mike. The
bench
sign's right
points
there.
for the
You'd
first
think it would
time for you
mean
guys
something,
this season. What worked so well with the starting group in comparison to the couple guys that came off the bench?
Well, our starting unit without Jaden, so Jaden usually is our sixth man. He had 16, 11, and 6.
Yeah, this is
But
going to be an
with
apt
B.J. Edwards in
descriptor.
there,
Well, maybe you'll
I
be
just
able to
saw a
edit in the
stat.
video after the
Our
fact.
normal
We'll
starting
drop
five
it
is
in
the sixth
where
most
that goes.
productive
something.
starting five in college basketball. So you throw Jaden in there without B.J. He did a terrific job to keep it going. The guys off the bench were helped us win the game today. And they're going to have to give us some more minutes tomorrow because it's a short turnaround.
We'll take one more for the players. Anybody else? Okay, guys, you can hit back to the locker room. Good job.
Thank you.
What, Coach, wait. You
Oh.
don't get off so easy,
Sorry.
Coach. Okay, questions for Coach.
They're still talking to Andy Enfield.
Hey, Coach,
Red
you
will
guys
be
were up
next.
by just one going into halftime, but then in the second half just blew the doors out of that game. What was the adjustments that were made at halftime to just take that game over in the second?
Well, Toombs was great in the middle of the zone the first half, and we were getting good shots. We just weren't making any. At halftime, Corey Washington and Jerron were 0 for 9 for the three-point line together, and I think they were 3 for 16 from the field, which is not very good. We just figured that if we just kept playing and sharing the basketball, we had 20 assists tonight. We had 10 at halftime, and we should have 14 or 15. We just missed some open shots. So we just said, you got to keep sharing the basketball. And we went through a stretch in the first half where we didn't. We took about 3 straight possessions. We went one-on-one and turned the ball over and took some dumb shots. And second half, we really played within ourselves and played as a team. So really, the adjustment was just keep playing as a team offensively and sharing the ball.
Front row to our left, Coach.
Coach Pierre, 3 threes in a row and then 4 overall in the second half. Just what you can say about the looks that he had and working the ball to him and how well he came through for you when you needed that run.
Yeah, he was spectacular in that 2 or 3 minute stretch, 3 threes in a row, and he gets it going. He's a very streaky player, as you see. He went 0 for whatever in the first half, I think 0 for 5 from the 3 in the first half, and in the second half he made 5 threes. So he's very streaky, and when he gets it going, he's fun to watch. So we just need that consistency out of him here starting tomorrow.
He's a sketch artist to sketch.
Any other questions for Coach?
That could work.
Okay, thanks, Coach. See you tomorrow.
darkness is
We
out.
get one more in front row. Reminder, the SMU locker room is still open.
I know you're very familiar with Louisville, played them twice, but just early thoughts before tomorrow.
Well, we've had a really hard schedule in our league. We played Louisville twice this year. This will be the 3rd time. And they're an exceptional basketball team. They scored a ball. I think Louisville and SMU are the 2 highest scoring teams in the league. I'm not sure if we're first or second, but we've been the 2 highest scoring teams in the league this year. And we have to come out and we have to score the ball against them and also defend a little bit. Now, there's a lot of video for 2 games on both teams, so we just have to come out ready to play tomorrow and give it our best shot.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
All right, there goes Andy Enfield. You can't see him going. I promise you he's going. He's walking. He's grabbed his drink. He's walking left to right across the blackness. I guess what they must do, they stream these post-game press conferences. It's live on, like, Watch ESPN and, ACC Network Extra. Apparently they've managed to foil people like me who want to, also stream them and show them to the people. So it's auto making, like I can see it on the screen, then I try to put it through the other program to show it to you, and it makes a black screen, which thankfully for Syracuse is about as apt as a description of the season. So Reds Final live post-game press conference. Will can be mime him. Will be conducted in darkness for you. Hopefully, after the fact, it looks like they post them somewhere. So hopefully, oh, here comes Red. Hopefully, after the fact, it'll be available for some editing. But for now, who's coming in? We got Red, we got Tyler Betsy, and we got Nate Kings. Okay. Red on the left, Nate Kings in the middle, Tyler Betsy dressed in a Gatorade towel. No longer a Syracuse sponsor.
I thought today's game really came down to, for us, the ability to rebound, second chance points, and then offensively, our guards, our perimeter, we didn't make enough shots, didn't play well enough. You got to keep score with a team like SMU, and I thought, that was the difference. It was a challenge to keep those guys off the glass, but I thought we did a good job in the first half. The second half, I think as the game wore on, they started making some shots, and that was the difference. And we really couldn't, make a ton of shots besides these two guys right here, Tyler and Nate. They kept us afloat, but we need more outside shooting when you play against a team that scores as well as SMU.
Okay, questions for the two.
They needed more everything against SMU. Let's start with questions for Nate and Tyler Betsy.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com for both of you. I mean, Nate, you had 25 points in the game, and Tyler, you did a lot from three-point range in the second half. Just what you can both say about your performance and giving your all despite the fact that everything ended today.
Nate?
It's really just win or go home mentality. I was just trying to, leave it all out there on the court and go as hard as I could. My last game, I don't know what the future holds for me, so I just wanted to leave it all out there and, do whatever I could.
Yeah, like you said, just win or go home is nothing to leave in the tank. I just wanted to play good for my team. My coaches, coach that believe in me, I just wanted to prove them right, so left it all out there.
All right, let's just get rid of the players and get to what we all want, right?
Coming into this year, why didn't this season maybe go the way that you guys had hoped for?
Just say inconsistencies with each other. Just whether that's practice, just people working. It just shows versus good teams when you're just not consistent. Good teams take advantage of that. But I feel like obviously us people in that locker room, we know we had in there. We know what type of coaches we have. We really feel like we could have did something special this year, but it just didn't go that way.
That's Tyler Betsy, shrouded in darkness, that was talking. Nate Kings is the other one.
You mentioned that inconsistency. Why do you feel like that was there?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Front row.
Yeah, Mario's
yeah, Nate.
here,
obviously, you've been through college basketball a long time. Just what did this season and this opportunity mean for you, and what would it mean to get another year?
I was definitely it was a good year. Coach brought me in, and the whole coaching staff believed in me, and really appreciative of that. And I just wanted to try and give my all and whatever I could each game. And yeah, man, just grateful for the opportunity that Coach Red gave me before I came here, and just see what the future holds.
Figure we'll just add as much to this as we can. This is a dog. Say hi to Ollie. Ollie's here for the post-game press conference, too.
Going to be from the year. Obviously, it's pretty fresh right now, but if you could think a little bit more big picture about what the year's meant to both of you.
Tyler?
For me personally, just coming off a year where I didn't really play that much as a freshman, I'm just grateful Coach took a chance on me and allowed me to play big minutes at a high level school, one of the top schools in the country. So just grateful for the relationships I built. That's what I'm taking away from this season.
We're leaning into the chaos, MJ Burke. Just only chaos. Black screen of presser, a dog, kids, chaos. Chaos!
Really grateful for them, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest takeaway, and just, learned a lot playing at this level, and, just try and continue to grow throughout the future.
Last question for the players.
For Tyler, you didn't get a lot of opportunity last year, and then, like you said, you got a lot more opportunity in minutes this year. Where do you feel like you grew the most as a player?
Just probably just my motor. Like, you know, a lot of days Coach Red just screaming at me. Some days I don't understand it. You know, some days I'm mad at it. But when I go back to my dorm and stuff like that, talk to my family, I always know like it's coming from a good place from him. So it's never personal. You know, he screams at us hard, but off the court, talk to us regular. So we just build to have a relationship like that. So that's what I'm gonna take away.
Okay.
All right, Red. So you scream at the players hard. Your thoughts?
We'll take questions for Coach.
Okay, here it comes. Red's last moments, one would presume.
Second row.
It's sausage and peppers, Patch and Louise.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Post-Standard. Adrian, I was just wondering, like, at any time today, maybe even walking off the court or talking to the guys after the game, did you have any kind of thoughts at the way the season ended and your future personally?
Not as you're preparing for the game and not, during the game. Obviously, now when the game's over with and, you think about those things. I think the one thing I'll say is, that with this. It was a group that we put together with the hopes of being able to work through those things, work through that development, to try to be able to develop, on the job, so to speak. And, I think that's where the inconsistencies were, because even some of our older guys that came to play hadn't played a ton at their other places. So, we knew it was going to be a learning club, but we thought we had a group that could kind of push through that, but that didn't happen the way we wanted to. But yeah, Mike, I think about, as you think about it, you always think about, when the season's over with, about your future, no different than last year. So, we'll, I'll have more thoughts again, like I always do. Right when the game's over with, it's a lot of emotions, it's a lot of feelings. So, that's what, we'll do. I'll continue to do, as we move forward.
That's a much less insane answer than what happened 3 years ago with Boeheim.
You said you were going to build sort of your team up with JJ and Donnie. And did you or maybe overestimate a little bit about how good they would be this year and how much they could help you? I'm curious about what your thoughts are about their performance this season.
I thought, Donnie coming back, JJ, returning for senior year. I thought that was a good, building block and foundation to have some people that have been here that kind of understand it. But the one thing, you don't know how the development will go. In Donnie's situation, he only played 13 or 14 games. So he was excited to get back, but he was still technically like a freshman. I think he really just, exceeded the freshman season amount of games being played. So he had to learn on the job, and then he had an injury, which, kind of set him back as well. So, and going into the season, you don't kind of, expect those things, and I thought JJ, for the most part, a lot of the stuff that he did for the most of the year was really more of him growing himself and being a complete player. And I know everyone in Syracuse was, used to him, putting up big numbers, but I thought he, grew as a complete player this year, and that was the challenge. And we knew that the numbers would go down because of the players that we were bringing in. And, I think, especially towards the end, players go through those types of slumps. Unfortunately, it happened at the end of the season. But, overall, I thought JJ grew on both sides of the floor, which, we were preaching. And, I give him a lot of credit, and I thank him for, trusting in that and trying to actually go out and do it.
A very diplomatic answer there for Red. Not going out swinging at the moment.
Hasn't gone necessarily how you wanted it to go these 3 years. What do you reflect on? What have you learned about yourself and the standard of Syracuse that you've talked about a lot?
Well, when I took this job, and I was obviously I went here, and I know the expectations that this job comes with. I was a player and part of it, and every day, that was what I tried to I tried to do, and honoring that, you know, with my players, with my staff, the way I coached, you know, the thing about what I've learned is that it's a lot of different variables that in today's world that to get to that standard again that you just can't overlook. It's just a reality. So I think that's the one thing that I learned. You know, the landscape of college athletics has changed, and you know, to be where we want our standard to be. You know, a lot of those things changed, and I think that was the struggle. You know, for me to try to adapt to that, and I think you got to have it. You know, to be able to, you know, compete nationally. It's different now, you know, to be able to be relevant, you know, top 25 and compete for tournaments and be in championships. You know, the investment has to be there from top to bottom, and there's no way around it, you know. And I think that was, you know, me trying to keep up pace and us trying to keep up pace in that arena. But still, I don't shy away from, you know, the job that I did. You know, I'm harder on myself than anybody, you know, and you know, I didn't get the results that we wanted. So I don't shy away from coaching, but you know, things are just different now, and I think that's the one thing I learned the most while you know, in these first 3 years about, you know, trying to get the program back to the expectations and the standards.
More past tense, right? I don't shy away from the job that I did. Ollie wanted to lay down.
Do you know if there's any plans in the immediate future? And then follow up quick.
Yeah, we'll have all our meetings tomorrow.
Okay.
So
as you were talking about looking back, I mean, is there anything that you know, 3 years in, you look back and say, I wish I had done differently, or what maybe you learned that you would do differently again?
I don't know if we have enough time for that, but no. Again, I think the biggest thing is the amount of work and the amount of you know, so many good programs and so many good teams, but the amount of work that you really have to every day put in, you know, with your staff, you know, really, you know, with your staff, and trying to really articulate, you know, the vision, you know, the culture, you know, really hammering that in every day. You know, I think that's the one thing that, you know, you hear about it, you know, you got to do it, but to really actually do it every day, and I think that's the one thing that sticks out.
Far left.
David Ubben with The Athletic. You mentioned working through that development. Why do you feel like it didn't play out the way that you had hoped? And also, what do you expect about your future at Syracuse?
We're buffering.
Well, you know, again, it's a lot of things that, you know, not a lot of things, but it's things that you typically, you know, we were starting from a different place when I took the job. Obviously, following behind Coach, that was, you know, those were big shoes to fill, and you know, like I said before, you know, being able to, you know, have continuity, I think that impacts, you know, not being able to have continuity, you know, with the things that happen. But, you know, you just, you know, with every team, you know, every team is different, you know, and obviously you have your idea of how you think that team and how you want that team to perform, but every team has its flaws, every team has its struggles, and I think every coach has to adapt to that as you know, go through the year, and I thought we tried to, you know, adapt it to the best as possible, and I think, you know, that's what you have to do as a coach, is try to adapt to your talent, and we tried that.
Take two more questions, second row.
Coach, down here. Jim Boeheim is here today. If you are to speak to him afterwards, what will you talk about? And then before this game, what have you talked about leading up to this point? What has he been telling you?
I have not talked to Coach. I'm sure, you know, if I talk to Coach, you know, he would say we got to rebound the ball better in the zone and find the shooters, right? No, you know, Coach has been a great mentor for me as a coach and as a man, and you know, I think our conversations have always been about, you know, him trying to give me different things to look at, different things to worry about, different things not to worry about, ignore different things. And so, but he's just been a mentor and guiding me in as being a first-time coach and going through the process, and obviously the expectations at Syracuse because he had been here for so long. So whenever he did talk to me, it was really more advice about how to handle different things in different situations.
Last question, second row.
Yeah, Adrian, you'd mentioned in Syracuse in the last press conference and this one too about variables that have happened over the last couple of years that you thought you could have handled better. Can you be a little more specific about what those variables might be?
I think to be able to, it's not an excuse and it's just the reality. Again, I own up to everything, but to be able to operate and to be able to do things, the NIL, is a real thing. The transfer portal is a real thing. Those are the variables that I was referring to. Those are always going to be challenging. And again, if you fall a little short in those things, it makes it that much more difficult to be able to have the consistency that you want to have. And those variables, they matter. Where in the old model they didn't matter. They matter now. How you operate, how your budget for recruiting and retention. Being able to help your coaches, develop your coaches. The growing staffs. Being able to have all of those things. Those things matter now, and I think those are the variables that I talk about. That probably. Before I took the job, I probably didn't put that much emphasis into it. But now, sitting here, and especially in the last 3 years, the way it has progressed, I don't know if anyone knew it was going to progress to this extent. And so anybody that says, what do you mean? Yeah, we knew it, but to this extent, and just being able to talk to my peers and other people in the business, I think that's the bigged thing.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. You can't see him go, but there he goes. One presumed last time. Adrian Red Autry. Some semblance of sanity restored in the basement. Anyway, lots of new people here in the chat. Like, if this is the first time you've tuned into the channel, man, you picked a hell of a day. Slam that subscribe button. More subscribers, always good. Helps the numbers, helps the analytics, which I've heard are important in this day and age. And if you're feeling charitable, there's a $sign right next to the chat box. If you click it, it will allow you to spend your hard-earned dollars. You can become a member of the channel, and like LA Orange and Big Tuna there, you can turn your name green for reasonable, low, exciting prices. Also, if you're new to the channel, you can click the link at the top of the chat, the one that is pinned there, where it says Thoughts, Give a Call, and there is a link. If you click that, you can call in to the show. Hit the like button, too. Is there one of them? Hit like, hit subscribe. If you see any other buttons, just hit them. Nothing bad will happen. It's YouTube. Like, it's not some weird phishing scam. So, yeah, if you see a button, just hit the button. If you'd like to give a call, now's a great time to give a call. That show, like, sometimes shows go off the rails. We did it the other way. We started off the rails. Now we're trying to get back toward the rails. Yeah, San Diego Q's. For those that saying that that's excuses and whatever on that, I don't know. I think that's Red just saying from his perspective what happened. And like it or not, what he's saying, like, it is true. They were late on NIL. Now, did they, like, this year they had enough to be better than this, right? Like, they didn't expand their staff significantly. Why not? I don't know. Did I maintain professional dignity? I might have to return that money, Matt, and why we're not sure on that. All these things, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel bad for Red Autry, the human being, because I've known Red since he got, like, I didn't know him, obviously, when he was a player. Like, Red was a player when I was 10 and 12. Didn't know Red then. I've known Red to some extent his entire time back here in Syracuse as an assistant and a head coach. So, yeah, he's a nice guy. He's pleasant. He just was not cut out to be the head coach of Syracuse right now. We all know that. Red probably knows that. It's unfortunate. You don't see the $sign, David? How are you watching? On most places, I think it's right next to the chat box. whose fault is it, JM? I don't think it can be pinned on just one place. It's all of them. Like Boeheim, old school coach, he certainly wasn't on the front edge of adapting to it, and nobody in the administration was pushing Jim over the ledge. But not just basketball. It wasn't just a basketball thing. Football was late on too. Everybody was late on it. Nobody was pushing the entire athletic department to get ready for it. And then when they got ready in such a screwed up, bifurcated manner that it was just a mess. It was an absolute mess. Yeah, David, where are you watching? Maybe on your phone it's in a different place. That I'd have to look up. But it's right next to the chat box if you're typing on a computer or something. I can look it up in the app. Like we can do this. We can also do this because, man, I'll tell you about the show getting off on just an excitingly weird thing. We're 40 minutes into the show. You're watching on the phone, but that means you have the chat up. So let's see. Where's my YouTube? Let's pull up my YouTube app. We're just gonna live. We're gonna live it. We're gonna live troubleshoot things. See what we can do. See what we can do here. We're gonna turn on the show live on my phone. Chat box. Well, at least I got the Android app. There's the chat box at the bottom of the screen, and there's the little dollar sign in a circle right next to it when I'm holding it like this. It's right down. There, right at the bottom. Hey, that's me. I'm on TV. Look at that. How about that? You know what we didn't do since we usually go off the rails. Now we're back on the rails. So how about our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu because we love our sponsors. Hey, we're going to show you, but it's going to be a black box, but we can hear it. Red's press conference from the game. I could see it. You couldn't. Sorry about that. Nothing that could be done. In hindsight, devious moves by the folks at ESPN behind the scenes to not allow me to rebroadcast it without the express written consent. Did I need express written consent? I was using implied oral consent. The link is pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the show via a live video call. And yes, the Spaceballs VHS copy. Spaceballs 2, back for more cash. Love Spaceballs. Raspberry. Where was I? So we'll check out the press conference. Yeah, Big Tune is only here for the Who's the Next intro music. And yeah, and now we're into it. Like the season's over. The season is over. Thompson Road Tavern, they're never over. What's going on at the tavern here? What's the special today? Today is Tuesday. I'll tell you this. They Taco Tuesday it there. Or, Mexican Tuesday. They got a steak and poblano pepper burrito served with a side of Mexican rice. It's only $7.10. Like, you can still go get that. Thompson Road, it looks fantastic. It photographs well. Thompson Road Tavern, where? Thompson Road, 690, Thompson Road exit, north, east, north, that way. It's that way. Get off, go north, drive a little bit. There'll be a couple stoplights. Look on your right. It's there. Get the food. It could be raining tacos. We had a request for that earlier in the show, Mark. As we know. Our Thompson Road Tavern opening menu, officially the latest. We've hit that in a show today. We got the poll going at the top for our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. Red's last presser dominating the poll right now. You didn't even know that you weren't actually going to see it at the time many of you voted for it. Sadness, despair, and apathy are going to go down to after a dominant winning streak, going to go down to a tragic loss here to close the season. So here's the deal. We're actively... Has Red been fired yet? We're actively keeping... I'd say it's in play anytime starting now. Like, I'd say... Well, maybe not now. Whenever the locker room is closed. So whenever it is technically time to no longer ask to talk to people in the Syracuse locker room, I'd say the news could legitimately come out from any point this evening until... my guess is... at the latest, we're probably going to be hearing this is 10-ish in the morning, I think. And speaking of our menu for the week here, if we find out the news tonight or tomorrow morning, we will do a special edition of Live in the 315 tomorrow at 11 to break it all down. If it doesn't happen by yet tomorrow, then we won't do that. We are live in the 315 on Thursday. Myself and Jordan tomorrow night will have a TPS report. So regardless, we'll have something going on. Thank you, Crazy Gramps. Welcome to the thing. Crazy Gramps has figured out where the dollar sign is, all that. Red said they have meetings tomorrow. I wasn't sure what he meant by they or who they are. I guess it's possible that he needs to meet with Wild Hack to find out everything. Like, it can't be a very long meeting, right? Like, what? Like, he's not going to, what are you going to meet? It's not a normal exit meeting. It's just an exit meeting. I don't know. Yeah. Subscribe, alerts, the whole damn thing. If you turn your alerts on, then you won't have to remember any of this stuff I just told you. Your phone will go, there's a show on, and then you can join the show. And that will work out in just a fantastically wonderful way. So we'll do that. My Home Depot order has also been delivered. My phone is telling me that now. I don't know why it's telling me that at 7:12. It got delivered like 3 hours ago. They're way behind the times. But my Home Depot order is here if anyone cares. Wild Hack will be at the tarmac. Yeah, I don't know. Like the Boeheim thing, they did the Boeheim thing later that day, right? But I think they kind of had their hand forced on it because the last Boeheim press conference was so freaking bizarre. Was so beyond bizarre. I know good words, Hernan. I know big fan. I have the best syllables. I know all of the syllables, and I used it correctly, too. But, yeah, so I think because Red is not going out weird and crazy, Pete Thamel breaking the news, that feels about right. Whenever there's big Syracuse news, Pete Thamel is usually the one to break it, as somebody I'm sure is telling it to him. You're doing all the work, Kev. You chopping, you dicing, you slicing, you're all of it. What is my honest opinion of Boeheim's new specs? I thought they looked okay. Are they my favorite specs that he's ever had? No, they were very round, weren't they? I don't know. I don't like a very round. It doesn't fit my face weird when I have a very, and it doesn't, my vision doesn't enjoy a very round. So, I don't know. I don't blame Steve. It's just they give the big scoops to the national media, whoever they are. Like, it's not like they broke the news, but I don't know. So, how far would they have gone this season with a good coaching staff with these players? Maybe I don't know, Dale, because let's look at Nate George specifically. Like, how much of Nate George's issues were coaching, or is that just what Nate George is, and we just didn't really understand it because we didn't watch him a ton? Like, here's I think what would have had to happen for this year's team. Let's not say Sweet 16, but to be capable of it, right? Because obviously you need to catch some breaks and whatever in the tournament. So, Donnie Freeman would have had to be the best player, but play like it all season. And just setting aside the injury, right? Play like it all season, play with a fire, and defend, rebound, and really go hard all season. They'd also have to make sure they were getting him the ball in spots that make sense. Now, how much of that is coaching and how much of that is Donnie? I don't know. Because, Donnie drifts to the perimeter. Does better coaching put him where he needs to be, which is at, the elbow of the free throw line so he can operate in there? Because Donnie shouldn't be driving from 20 feet away to the basket. It's too far for him. Should he shoot threes? Yeah, sometimes, but that was almost always his first shot of the game. It should be about his sixth. So, I don't know. Cayenne, yeah, you'd like to think he would have had a better season. Obviously, he completely disappeared down the stretch. JJ, I don't even know where to begin with JJ this season. Yeah, could better coaching have scraped them into the tournament? I think it's possible. This team did not lose a lot of games this year because of an overwhelming talent deficit. They lost Duke from an overwhelming talent deficit. It felt like they lost Iowa State from an overwhelming talent deficit. And losses from overwhelming, I'm not saying talent deficit, they had a talent deficit in North Carolina. The first game it was overwhelming, the second game it wasn't. So 3 games lost to overwhelming talent deficit. First Carolina game, Duke, and Iowa State. Those are the only three I can think of off the top of the dome that they just, like, I don't care who was coaching, you were losing those games. Now, obviously, you know, a good or a great coach isn't flipping every other game. I'm not saying they should have been like 29-3 or something like that. The question is how many of those games could have been flipped by coaching? And it's a hard question to answer. It's a hard thing to know or understand. But yeah, Red was consistently outcoached. Second half adjustments more often than not were lacking. And that's an issue, right? Like, look at today. It was a 1-point game at halftime. They lost by 17. Got outscored by 16 in the second half. How many points did they give up after halftime? They gave up 47 points in the second half. Like, part of that's coaching, right? Again, link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join the show with thoughts on this or anything. That said, like, I'm not putting it all on Red. I said this to somebody earlier today at an interview I was doing, because sometimes people want to talk to me. Yeah, I think the BC game broke them in many ways. Hofstra and BC really crushed him. Like, I thought after the first two Donnie games back, the first two starts he had back on the road, I'm like, okay, they got a shot to dig this out because Donnie looked great in those two games. And then he never quite looked that good ever again. Like, he had games where he scored, but those first two games, he was scoring and rebounding and defending. He did so much stuff in those two games. I'm like, whoa, this guy is shortlist one of the better players in the league. Unfortunately, it turned out to be only a week. You would have needed him to play. Like, if Syracuse is going to be a good team, Donnie Freeman needed to play at minimum at a second-team All-ACC level, borderline first-team All-ACC level. The talent's there, I think, but he didn't do it. So how much of that is a coach? How much of that is not? Speaking of, like, who will come back next year? I think it's impossible to answer that question right now, because if we're going to say a lot of the issues this year were coaching, then I think you need to make sure that, like, all right, are you prepared? Say Donnie Freeman comes back. I'm not ruling it out. Will he come back? I don't think so, but I refuse to rule it out. Like, say Brian Hodgson gets hired. They had a relationship when he was getting recruited to Alabama. Say Hodgson says, all right, I can coach this guy. And then Hodgson convinces the NIL people that, yeah, I know how he ticks. He will play the right way for me. Will he be right? I don't know. But that's a reasonable thought and argument to make. It's a reasonable thought and argument to make. Hopkins was terrible in Washington. The two-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year, David. How dare you? Just don't look at his last 4 seasons. Two-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Man, I really thought, first 2 years, I thought Hop was going to get it going. Did not. I love me some Hop. But, like, I think Hodgson, I still today at this moment, I'll put Hodgson as the favorite to get the job. What time is it? It's 7:20. I think that a game that tips off in 1 hour and 40 minutes from now could very well be Jerry McNamara. Like, if Jerry wins that game tonight, if Siena wins that game tonight, like, if Jerry takes a 4-win Siena team and puts them in the tournament in 2 years, I think that alleviates a lot of the concerns that people had about Jerry. It does not eliminate the thought process that, hey, maybe that we got to blow it all up and get away from everything, right? I can understand that thought process. I'm not totally sold on it as blowing it up and getting away from everything being the answer. If Jerry seems to perhaps understand the things that need to be blown up. So if Jerry can blow up the right things and keep the right things, then maybe he's a guy. I think if they win tonight, Merrimack is favored by, what are they favored by? Like 4.5, 5. They beat Siena twice in the season. They won the regular season in the MAC by, I think it was 4 games this year. But, you know, I've always, who doesn't like Jerry? Everyone likes Jerry. But did you see the video of Jerry after the game Sunday night in the semifinals? Siena had a huge lead, all shrinks. They hang on. They win it late. Jerry is in the locker. He is chest bumping. He is doing all that stuff. But then, like, the first thing he does, he's talking, and he went right into, like, analytics. Like, hey, we're the, like, top 25 team in the country in defense, and we won because of this and that. It was, like, that was really good to see. Like, if you're going to sell people on, like, all right, is Jerry ready to coach big-time ball? Like, I think that video is kind of important. So, do I think Jerry will get the job? No, but I think it's way more possible, like, now than it was a couple weeks ago, right? Like, I thought that it maybe gone away. They were close losses, Nicky Spum. One was overtime. Okay, so, like, expect a good game tonight. Both teams rested. Nobody played yesterday. That game tips off at 9. It's on ESPN or ESPN2 or some such. Jerry said they're in the top 25, and it was some defensive stat that he tossed out there, too. And I'm not sure what it was, but, like, after he got done chest bumping the entire locker room, he broke down some defense. Yeah, Hop did the same stuff. That, like, honestly, 10 years ago, that's Hop. 10 years ago, that's Hop. That's Hop 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I was all for hiring Hop. 10 years ago, I was all for hiring Hop. But yeah, could Jerry be that? And can we get Jerry at the right moment? I don't know. Like Josh Schertz, I think, yeah, he's had a tough couple of weeks. I think you give him a call. Do you dare explore any assistants? We mentioned the UConn lead assistant, Kamani Young, the other day on Thursday, and our next official, who's next? We will mention a Duke assistant. Do you examine getting somebody from a program like that that's had a success at a high level very recently? And yeah, did somebody say, could it be somebody we haven't thought of yet? Like right now, today, the tournament hasn't started yet. Every year, like who was talking about Shaheen Holloway before he had that crazy run as a 15 seed with St. Peter's a couple of years ago? Nobody's talking about Shaheen Holloway a few years ago. He became the hottest name in the country in a week and a half. That could easily happen again. Like, that can happen. It happens almost every year to somebody. It could happen to Jerry. It happens every year to somebody. Does Syracuse do that, especially now, like when you're going new chancellor, potential new AD coming soon down the pike? I think these are all very, very big variables in how it plays out. But if you are John Wildhack, to whatever extent he will be involved, if you are Mike Haney as the new chancellor, to whatever extent he will be involved, if you are the board of trustees, who 100% will be involved, if you are the new AD, whomever that is, whenever they will be involved, I think, like, you talk to Hodgson, you give Josh Schertz a call, you talk to Jerry. Like, I think it's worthwhile talking to Jerry. Like, talking never hurt anybody. Interview Jerry. I'd say those three guys you 100% talk to, and then you can explore the space a little bit. Then you can explore the space a little bit and see if anybody who else is out there. See who else is out there. Yeah, Jerry beating Fairfield is exactly. It's huge. It's huge, fellow footer. Except they're playing Merrimack tonight. They need to also beat Merrimack. Don't you sleep on Merrimack. Yeah, Carmelo. Yeah, I mean, I think this is one where, since there's so much new and it's so important, let's not go into it from a decision-making process with a closed mind. Like, I don't want them to say, all right, Brian Hodgson's tight with the Lallies because something in Tampa, blah, blah, blah. The Lallies like the new chancellor. The Lallies are involved in hiring the next AD. 1 + 1 = 2. I think that's important. I think Brian Hodgson's a reasonable solution to the problem. I also understand people's unease with Hodgson. Like that video he had that I retweeted earlier today from his thing on the Field of 68 last night, where he was basically threatened to beat people in a back alley in Indianapolis in the Final Four if they try to poach USF's players. Yeah, not a huge fan of that. The last guy that was beating up people in Indianapolis, Mark Sanchez, had everything go haywire in his life. So, I don't know. Just not a great idea. Not a great idea. Would I hate if they moved from the script? I still love the script. If you move from the script, you can. Just make it good. I love the script. Then, yeah, like, so that needs to, like, stuff like that needs to be examined. Is he going to represent the program in the way you want? Can Jerry get proper NIL backing to be able to recruit in the way that you want? Josh Schertz is clearly a great game coach. Can you pry him away from St. Louis, all the Billiken fans say he ain't going anywhere, and from the Midwest, where it seems like he's found a home? Who else we talking about? I'd still, Matt Langle at Colgate's, they don't have the buzz a couple of years ago. He's a very, very good in-game coach. I still take a glance at Matt Langle to see what he's up to. Is there any big fish? And no, I'm not talking about Rick Pitino. Is there any realistic big fish that you can make a pitch to? I don't even know who that is. Like, Marquette had a weird year. Some people were trying to pitch Shaka Smart a while ago. Could you? Like, Shaka's a really good coach. He both grew hair that no one knew he had and had a career renaissance at Marquette. Is there somebody like that? Do you look at a guy like Travis Steele, who we've talked about, who's now at Miami of Ohio and undefeated, and say, okay, he went through it at Xavier, didn't live up to it, but now he's figured it out, he's on the rise? Like, I think there's a lot of factors. Do you wait for UCLA to toss Mick Cronin out of his butt and really go crazy with it? Yeah. Do you yeah, at Denny's? Yeah, well, should we snap like this? Yeah. Rick Majerus did like it there. Jamie Dixon. Oh God, help us, Jamie Dixon. Brian Dutcher. Is he still at San Diego State? Yeah, like, he's obviously a fantastic coach. He took San Diego State to the freaking national title game a few years ago. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of questions. Like, I wouldn't just say, all right, it's Brian Hodgson's, we're done. Now, that may still end up being the answer you come around to, right? That may still be where you get back to. But, hey, you've had, if you're John Wildhack, if you're the board, if you're, like, honestly, if you're whomever the next AD is going to be, because God help you if you haven't been thinking about this for the last month or two since you knew you were going to have a shot at this, whomever it's going to be, like, this should have been occupying a lot of space in your brain. Like, let's not go into it with a preconceived concept, but let's go into it with a lot of concepts to execute really quickly. Because realistically, has the move been announced yet? Do I have an email? No, the last email is still about my Home Depot order being delivered. Got my order. Thank you, Home Depot. But you should be able to hit the, like, you knew you were going to do this for a month. There's been no debate. This was decided. I don't care what anybody says, how it gets presented, meaningful games in March. Everyone knew the answer a month ago. Like, come on if you didn't know the answer a month ago. It was decided a month ago. We all knew a month ago there wasn't going to be meaningful games in March. We lost all last hope of it with the previous 6-game losing streak. This now being the second 6-game losing streak in the end of the year. So you've known for a while. Have it in order, and regardless of what you've been doing back channeling so far, now it's time to hit the gas and go. Talk to all these people, line up interviews, and go. Because this person, if they're in the tournament, like, okay, let them do the thing. Like, you need to get them hired as soon as they're done. If they're not in the tournament for some reason, like, go. Flip the switch, because I want the new coach to have as much time with the current roster to be able to make some informed decisions on who they want to try to sway to stay. Yeah, Govendo, like, I don't know what officially happened, what didn't happen. There was plenty of rumors floating around. The tenor of Red's post-game press conferences changed. Everything changed, like, right around a month ago. Like, was it official? Was it not? I don't know. But, like, it feels like the answer has been known for a long time. Home Depot stings. They had free delivery on what I was looking for, Kev. So that really sold the thing. So, like, if Syracuse does not hit the ground running in an orderly fashion and knock out these things and get this done efficiently, I'm going to be extremely disturbed by what's happened. Because you've got new chancellor now. From all of the rumors and rumblings and sound, new AD should be announced sooner than later. Like, let's go and let's be on it. I want the new head coach, whomever they are, to talk to Cayenne and Carmelo before Cayenne's in the portal. I want the same thing with Sadiq White. I want the same thing with Nate Kings, with Tyler Betsy. Like, with these guys, talk to Nate George and decide if you want another year of Nate George. He has another year. So there's all those things. You prefer Lowe's? Home Depot is actually closer to my house than Lowe's, Dinky's Pond, because, you know, that's just generally how that decision gets made. There's not much more to it than that. There's not much more to it than that. So I think this is going to be fascinating times. Fascinating times. Like, will we get it? I'm going to refresh my email, even though it auto refreshes. This won't do anything at all, but I'm going to hit the button anyway. Still, my most recent email is my Home Depot. Yeah, fire Haney. He's been a terrible chancellor-elect. You know what you should do is go to the most. Not right now because it's not open today or tomorrow, but it's on the screen, so it reminds me. Become a member. We'll have giveaways, including passes to the most sooner than later. If you have turned your name green and are a member of the channel, $ next to the chat box. You can become eligible to win exciting prizes from our sponsors, including the most, including Thompson Road Tavern, including the Simply Sweet Sisters, and all of those things. Ace Hardware, yeah, Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks, Sticky's Pond. Yeah, fire me. Govenda likes Builder Square. What century are you buying things in, Govenda? Does that still exist anywhere? Builder Square. Oh, man. So, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if gun to my head, what's going to happen right now, Brian Hodgson will be the next head coach of Syracuse because it seems he reasonably clearly wants the job. Chase Pitkins? I believe it's Pitkins, not Pickens. Pitkins. Who do we want back? I think, like, you have players you can win with because there is talent there. Like, Donnie Freeman's the lead case, right? If Brian Hodgson's the coach, and Brian Hodgson knew him when, if he thinks he can coach him into being that guy, I think that's a risk worth taking. Sadiq White, I think, I found out. I think get Sadiq in the weight room, off-season, heavy weight training, bulk it up a little bit. I think Sadiq is going to be a player. Cayenne, I think it's still in there for Cayenne to some extent. Like, I think you have some parts. Clearly, whatever happens, you're going to need to hammer the portal hard. Regardless, like, you're going to need to get a center. You're going to need to get another difference maker of some sort. Like, you're going to need to get some serious players out of the portal to be competitive regardless of what happens. But I think with better coaching and better auxiliary pieces, there is stuff you can keep to make something out of it. Yeah, I have no idea what Brian Hodgson wants. Like, he's already threatening people that are going to poach his USF players. What if he poaches his own USF players? He might have to beat himself up in a back alley in Indianapolis. What a weird way to start his Syracuse tenure that would be. And realistically, I've watched 0 seconds of USF basketball this season. Like, clearly they're winning games there. Are those players good enough to win at this level, and how many? I'm sure some are. Shout out to Smith Restaurant Supply. I like Smith. I haven't been to their new location on Erie. I only went back when it was in the building that has, Smith Restaurant Supply painted on the side of it. Shout out to East Syracuse Chevrolet. That's no longer called that. Shout out to all those things. Like, Cayenne can still be something. Cayenne, I remember the name Grossman. I recall the name Grossman existing. That rings a bell. That rings a bell. Luke Fennell. Like, honestly, Luke Fennell, I think, is a fascinating case. He's 6'6". If he's anything like what he was told he was going to be, like, he could develop into something somewhere. Like, now, realistically, the school that develops the most Aussies into something over time is St. Mary's. I could see him transferring across the country, landing in the West Coast Conference, going to St. Mary's, maybe Gonzaga, even though they're moving to the new Pac-12 next year. Like, that, I could see a world where that happens. Like, a case like him is weird. A case like him is weird. So, I don't know. There's the dude, Aaron Womack. He's on the team. You know Aaron Womack. They don't know Aaron Womack. Oh, man. Like, Nate King's offseason, I think, is going to be fascinating. Because I think technically he's going to have to sue or whatever to get another year. But everyone who sues gets another year. So let's just assume Nate King's gets the next year. I think Nate enjoyed his time here. I think he was a great representative of the program. His life story and the way, up by the bootstraps and the whole thing is fantastic. I think Nate Kings can be a really important cog on a winning basketball team next year. Harbor Freight's still out there, Dinky Spot. I think Nate Kings can be an important part on a winning basketball team next year. But I also think he played really good ball against a lot of the ACC. Like, a lot of the rest of the league's going to have seen Nate Kings and be like, yeah, you should. Like, if you told me Nate Kings is playing for Louisville next year, is anyone going to be surprised? Hey, I'm not going to be surprised if Nate Kings is playing for Louisville next year. Like, he could go to Louisville or North Carolina or something and fit in and play really well. Like, has Hodgson said he wants to come here? Like, no, he has not specifically said those words out loud, Jordan Shell, because that's just not something you do. But, like, it is out there enough, and it has been said enough by national reporters who would only have said it if they heard it in a way that made them think that saying it would make a lot of sense, that my guess is that if offered the Syracuse job, barring something peculiar, that Brian Hodgson would take it. Yeah, Nate Kings has a year at JUCO. He's a year at NAIA. He's been all over hell and gone. He's been all over hell and gone. Oh, is that where Hughes coaching these days, Nick? Dinner's calling. Well, I hope you made it well, Kev. Go enjoy. I already had some sausage and peppers this evening. It was delightful. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but the next month here, like 1 month from now, the portal will have been open for 3 days. Officially. 1 month from now, the portal will have been open for 3 days. The next month, the next 6 weeks, is probably the most important off-court. Let's go off-court. The most important off-court 6 weeks in the history of Syracuse basketball. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, that the next 6 weeks is the most important off-court 6 weeks in the history of Syracuse basketball. Like, it's not more important than when Syracuse won the national championship or things like that. But the next 6 weeks, it's the most important 6 weeks in the history of Syracuse basketball. Because if they get it right, you got a chance to be right back in it. Look at the ACC this year. Virginia and Miami were both not good last year. They both got rid of their coaches last year. They both got new coaches this year. That is the 2 seed, and that is the 3 seed in the ACC tournament. They don't play until Thursday. They may not even be there yet. That's how fast you can turn it around when you get it right. That's how fast. In all my years around Syracuse basketball, is there another year that compares from a frustration level? Basketball-wise, frustration level. Not for the entire breadth of the year, Matt and why? Because, it all adds up, right? It's 5 years now. It's 10 years. It's 3 years with red. It's compound interest of frustration. From, not the start of the year, because people bought into a little hope at the start of the year, but from when I'd say Hofstra was the moment it turned for good, right? You lost all 3 out in Vegas, but then you got the Tennessee win back, so it was like, okay. Then I think the Hofstra game put it on the downward slide for good. Like, I think of moments, like in 07. 07 was Demetrius Nichols' senior year. Like, there have been moments of huge disappointment, right? When that team got screwed and did not make it into the NCAA tournament. Like, the disappointment at that moment was huge. Like, when you think of, like, major losses that Syracuse had. Like, when Arinze got hurt in the 2010 Big East tournament against Georgetown, and you knew that their chance of winning a national title just went up in smoke. Like, moments like that, like in the individual moments like that, is more disappointing in an individual moment. And I'm sure I could name, more, like the Lawrence Moten timeout against Arkansas. Like, I can name the individual moments. Obviously, the 87 title game, which is before my memory. But, like, the individual moments like that are more disappointing. As far as a whole season, though, like, I'm sure there have been disappointing seasons. Like, every year they miss the tournament has been a disappointing season in one way or another. But yeah, I'd say from the angst the fire red, the 5-year build, yeah, that start to finish, this has been the most frustrating season. Preston Shumpert's senior year. Oh, there's a lot going on that year. Man, anyway, there was a lot going on. That was my sophomore year at Syracuse, Shumpert's senior year. Yeah, that was a very frustrating year, but that team still won 20-some-odd games. Like, that was a very frustrating year. But that team won 20-some-odd games. Yeah, Fab Melo not playing in the tournament, that's a frustrating moment. But, yeah, losing to Richmond, yeah, those are moments. Those are one-off moments. Like, losing to Richmond was not a frustrating year. It was a frustrating day. They were a 2-seed. It wasn't frustrating up till that point. It was frustrating at that point. Yeah, so there were those moments. But when you look at a 3-month span, yeah, the Shump and Deshaun thing, that was a wacky year. Like, that was a wacky year. Like, there's plenty of frustrating moments, but as far as a frustrating span of months, like, I'm sure there were other years, like 97. Been to the national title game the year before. Obviously, Wallace is gone. It's a very new team. Jason Hart and Natan are freshmen. You still have Otis Hill. Did you still have Sims? I think, was he still there? He might have been gone. I don't remember. Todd Bergen was there. Jason Sapola. And they weren't that good, and they won 19 games or whatever and made the NIT, and they got absolutely wasted by Florida State in front of about 6 people in the first round. Like, that was a disappointing season, pretty much start to finish, directly in context to the year that had just happened. But, like, even though it happened, you all knew, like, the next year would happen and everything would be fine. And the next year happened and everything was fine. They made the Sweet 16, I think, the next year. Marius Yanulis hit the shot to beat Iona. Was that year? Like, so it was a frustrating year, but then it goes away. This has been building and building for 10 years, in at least a little bit. And in the last 5 years specifically because of no tournaments, then the last 3 years because of red, and then this year because we all knew what was on the line if they didn't make it. We all knew what the end result was going to be, is that red is going to be relieved of duties. Has not happened yet. Have an email that Boopy Miller scores 25 and SMU beats Syracuse. So we got that going for us, which is nice. But yeah, I don't. I think start to finish, it's because the frustration level came into the year elevated. We didn't need to work our way into it. We came in elevated, and we had a little dip down, and then re-elevated, and never came back down. Like, we have been elevated frustration level for 3 consecutive months. 3 consecutive months. Who? Gino Thorpe? Oh, what was that, 2017? Whatever year that was? 2019? That was a frustrating year. There have been a lot of frustrating years. There have been a lot of frustrating moments. Remember when Frank Howard tested positive for weed right before the start of the NCAA tournament? Like, Syracuse has had some freaking moments. No Sims? They had no point guard? Well, that's a problem. Like, Syracuse has had, they had a freshman Jason Hart, right? We won the Natty the year after Shumpert's senior year. That is a fact, Mike. Shumpert, Deshaun Williams, explodey season, and then they won the Natty the next year. Yeah. Like, 2008 was a frustrating year. That's the Dante Green year. But think of how fast it evaporated, because 2009 season was so fun. Was so fun. No wrong answers. What's the record in 26-27? I'm going to take the 5th on that for now. I need more information before I do no wrong answers on that. Should have let Frank play. I mean, the Frank case was pretty open and shut on that one. What they should have done is they should have let Fab Melo play. They should have let Fab play in 2012. That I think would have been a more interesting case if they'd let Fab play. Because now nobody cares if you did anything wrong. Like, nobody cares. Yeah, the life and times of Frank Howard were something. They were something. Dante Leave. Dante Leave. T. Murphy were the shirts. Dante Greeno has got a bad rap. He was a good dude. I like Dante. He got put in a tough spot that season. I got the frustration from because he was billed as the next Melo. He was billed as the next Melo. Yeah, Fab and the English language didn't go together. Great. R.I.P. Fab. R.I.P. Fab. Yeah, it's true. If Dante shut it down, oh man, Rob Murphy. That was a whole album. We once played it for some reason. It got put in a CD player on a women's basketball bus. Oh man, shout out to Rob Murphy. Yeah, Fab was at Chuck's all the time, and as a 7'2" Brazilian, not inconspicuous. I'm pretty sure he was at Chuck's if I'm remembering my stories right from back in the day. I'm pretty sure he was at Chuck's during watching an NCAA tournament game that he was suspended from. He went to the bar. He was like a 19, 20-year-old Brazilian at the bar. Oh man, shout out Fab Melo. He had a hell of a year that year. Oh man, he was the Big East Defensive Player of the Year now. Shout out to Fab. Yeah, Dante was doing okay in the NBA. Then he had a bad ankle injury, like his last season of his rookie deal with the Kings, and it just came at the absolute wrong time. He was not healthy when he was been signing a second contract, and ended up spending essentially the rest of his career overseas, if I recall. Keith Bullock at Harry's. See the entire lacrosse team at Harry's. Oh man. Fab was there all the time. The amount, just all the time. I was not there because I was too old to be there at the time. Much too old to be in an establishment such as that in 2012. But, sources on the ground. Fab was there all the damn time. Oh, man. Bam should have gone to U of Rochester in 2018. Oh, man. Dante could I always remember Dante would warm up he had they had a big ball. I think it was literally the product name was the big ball, and it was literally a ball, basketball. Follow me here. It was bigger. It was the same weight as a regular basketball, but it was bigger, so it just barely fit through the rim. So when you were practicing your shooting, you had to be very precise to get the big ball to go through the rim. Yeah, Fab was oddly good at taking a charge for a large, strong 7-foot Brazilian that would also block your shot. All right. It doesn't look like any news is forthcoming tonight. We should probably put the Fab Pro. Oh man. We should probably put the Raps in our Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game for the last time of the Syracuse basketball season. Man, I thought we might not. We've been rambling, so we will stare into the darkness of night on the Wildbirds Big Air Backyard Bird Cam, where the birds have been chirping as if it's been spring the last few days. Just don't look at the forecast upcoming later in the week. We don't want to look at that. So for our final Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game of this men's basketball season, perhaps we got more for lax. Maybe we can dial up some women's tournament action. We'll have to see when those games are coming up. We had these options for you in the poll. Boopy, who had 25 points. Nate Kings was fantastic in his last game as a Syracuse player. Maybe, maybe not. The 5-time reigning champion of the Big Air Player of the Game, Sadness, Despair, and Apathy, was up again. And then, without having seen it yet, and then finding out I couldn't actually show it to you and we could only listen to it, people were voting on it before it even happened. We made Red's last presser, his last press conference, a potential answer to the poll. So the results, Boopy Miller, 10%. Sadness, Despair, and Apathy in third place with 20%. Nate Kings nearly caught up at the end, an actual player with 32%. And then a sight unseen, Red's last press conference, presumed, allegedly, is our final Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game here of this basketball season. Wildbirds Unlimited closed now. It's after business hours. Their doors will open for all your birding needs in Fayetteville and Camillus, Saratoga Springs, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and they'll remain open until 6. Or let's put it this way. They'll remain unlocked. The doors too close. Yeah, shout out to Beef on Weck. Tomorrow will be a Weck Wednesday at the Thompson Road Tavern, where they always have on Wednesday their Beef on Weck special. Beef on Weck, that could be a potential good order if you're thinking about Western New York or Brian Hodgson being the next head coach. An Olean guy, like, he lives in Weck country. So I don't know, like that kismet, perhaps it could all be coming together in that way. The man is out there in Weck country. So there we are. Our final Wildbirds Unlimited Big Air player of the game of this men's basketball season is Red Autry's presumed final press conference. And with that, has Red been fired yet? Let's check the email. I assume I'm going to get an email. Has Pete Thamel fired him yet? Like, has anybody texted me that Red's been fired yet? Like, there's no information out in the universe that Red has been fired yet. So, again, Beef on Weck needs to be a player of the game. We have the rest of last season, Weez. Maybe Weck can have maybe Weck's a good crease attackman. Hodgson went to James. I spent 3 days of my life once in Jamestown from some New York Penn League baseball. That was 3 days that happened. Yeah. I was definitely in Jamestown, New York for 3 days of my life. Haven't been back for a fourth, but I was there for 3 days. We were in Jamestown alive for 3 days. How many days until football starts? More than 100, Mike. I have just begun starting to think that I should probably do my back counting to see when to start the 100-day countdown. So Natalie Merchant is from Jamestown? All right. So how many days till football season starts? I'm going to ballpark it right now. Yeah, we're in March, April, May. It's probably about 175, 180, something like that. We're 170. We're on March 10th. Season starts in August. Yeah, 170. We're going to go about 170, 172. I don't know. Better than Auburn, New York, though, right? The baseball stadium in Auburn is better than the baseball stadium was at the time in Jamestown that I recall. We were in, like, the press box for the Jamestown Jammers back in the day was like this wooden thing that was, instead of being directly behind home plate, it felt like it was leaning out over the first base line. I felt like way too close to home plate. Like, you want to be close to the action. I felt like a foul ball could have taken my head off literally at any second in that ballpark. Besides that, I really do not recall what else Jamestown had to offer. There was Auburn, I knew some people there that worked for Auburn, so, shout out to Auburn. Auburn and Batavia have the exact same baseball stadium. Like, literally the same blueprints built the thing. So, there's that. There's that. You're going to swim in a tub. Can you swim in a tub of a solid? You're just going to load the tub with Weck? Like, Weck is the roll. Oh, man. Okay, so here's the upcoming schedule before we let you go. Tomorrow, we'll have TPS Report with Jordan at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll be standing by. Be ready, prepared. This is why you need to subscribe and turn the notifications on, because at any moment we could be like, Red's fired. We're live in the 315. If Red gets fired tomorrow morning, which I just keep assuming is going to happen. I don't know it's going to happen. I keep assuming it's going to happen. If that happens, 11 o'clock tomorrow, we'll rock live. If that does not happen, TPS Report tomorrow night. Jordan and I will break it down. We're live in the 315 on Thursday morning at 11. There is a lax game on Thursday night. They play Air Force at 5. I have previous schedule obligations on Thursday, so no post-game show on Thursday for lax, and then we'll figure it out from there. Well, there we are. That was a post-game show, huh? That took some twists and turns. That took some turns, some twists, and a whole lot of other things. But thank you all for hanging out. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, $ next to the chat box is always appreciated. And that, my friends, is officially the conclusion of the 2026 Syracuse basketball season. Yes, T. Murphy. See you tomorrow at 11, unless things don't quite go as I expect. I'm guessing my bet is 9 a.m. email. I'm betting on 9 a.m. breaking news, but we shall see. With that, have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your dinner, Kev. See y'all.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.